Well, we got some big news on Friday, the 19th of May, 2017. Hey, everybody, it's Dave TV for the next day, 5:20. Anyway, Brian Wilson, not the Beach Boy, not the Baltimore radio personality, but the Brian Wilson. There's many people with that name, but anyway, the Brian Wilson, who's here in DC at WMAL. For the last 6 years, he's been the morning show co-host, and apparently he's gone. So now he can trash that alarm clock and sleep in. Yesterday, yesterday morning, right after his show, I guess, he posted this. Today is the last day of a wonderful 6-year ride at WMAL DC. Thanks, everyone. And then, of course, we get all these people, congratulating him and blah, 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 blah. But we're left in mystery. The mystery of what happened to Brian. Why is he leaving? Well, I don't know. I got a couple theories on that. Hey, everybody, it's Dave TV, DCR TV Media Edition. I'm here in Delaware at the moment. So far, so good. So, I can listen to WMAL on the stream, but no, I can't get the signal too well here. But anyway, I've had a lot of theories about Brian, a lot of talking about him, and, what's going on? What's going on? I really did like the Brian and Larry O'Connor combination, which has been on their morning show for many years, the last few years. I thought they really had a nice mix, okay? Their personalities went well together. Brian was kind of old-fashioned, older guy, kind of paternal. He's an older dude. He's probably in his 60s somewhere. He's, got all this history here in D.C. He was a Fox News reporter covering Capitol Hill and stuff and politics for many, many years. Before that, he worked for Channel 5 here in Washington, one of their top reporters. So he's been in the Washington market for decades, and he's kind of an old Paul. He knows the political systems. He's all that, and then they had Larry. Larry, and I don't know, Larry is kind of the Breitbart guy, kind of a little bit of a smartass, kind of a little bit of a metrosexual, kind of a younger guy. I don't know, they just seem to get along well together. They had a nice chemistry. The rumors that I've been hearing, of course, are that they didn't get along real well together, okay? I don't know. Brian has a reputation in the Washington market of kind of stirring things up, and I don't know. There's a lot of stories about Brian Wilson at Fox News, at WTTG, and even at WMAL, where sometimes he kind of gets riled up and his temper kind of gets up there, and he's kind of, not the easiest man in the world to deal with. That's what I've heard. That's the rep that comes with Brian. A lot of times when you talk to people about DC media personalities, there's a certain, Johnny Holiday, everybody loves, so-and-so, and everybody hates. But Brian Wilson, you get the he's a really cool guy, very smart, but he's a little hard to work with. That's what I've heard. So anyway, back about the beginning of the year, 2017, WMAL decided to separate Brian and Larry physically. No. They moved Larry to the afternoons. They got rid of Michael Savage, and they put Larry in afternoons, and they had Brian Wilson in mornings. And they paired Brian Wilson with this woman named Mary Walter, okay? And so it was all, whole big shift there. And it made sense because WMAL's ratings in the afternoons wasn't so great with Michael Savage, they needed to get more local inventory and make more money doing that. So that made sense. So they split up the two popular morning guys, and pair Brian with somebody else. Okay, fair and good. I have to say, and I've been listening very regularly to Brian and Mary, okay, not to be confused with Brian and Larry, Brian and Mary. It just doesn't gel. It just doesn't gel, okay? I don't know. It just doesn't quite work. You can hear a tension between them. They don't sound like they like each other. They're polite to each other and all that, but there's just a little bit of an edge there that you just go, these guys are kind of really holding it in. They really don't like each other. That's the impression I get. And I don't find the show as good as it was when it was Brian and Larry. I just don't. For whatever reason, personality-wise, whatever. Now, they've had a number of fill-in hosts when Brian is gone, Vince somebody or other, I think his name is, and a couple others that I think actually work better than Brian does with Mary. I just think that, you know, the show needs kind of a younger bent to it, I think, and Brian's good, but I think it's time, I really think it's time for Brian to just hang up the hat and move on with his life and get somebody new for that morning show. They need to make it more youth-oriented and stuff like that. That's my personal opinion. And some of the substitute hosts that I've heard with Mary Walter in the morning when Brian's away actually work better. In fact, even when Brian's there and Mary's away, they bring in some of the substitute hosts. I like Michael Steele, too. I think he would be, you know, he was the, former Maryland lieutenant governor. I think Michael Steele would also be good. I don't know if I've heard him that much on the station. He's kind of a guest. But I don't know. I think when Brian's there, it kind of drags that show down a little bit. That's just the way I see it. So, you know, so in a way, I'm kind of wondering, okay, what's going on here? Did Brian and Bill Hess, who's the station manager, did they have words? Something just happened and he said goodbye? Or was it something like this was all planned? After the Friday show, Bill Hess walks in and goes, goodbye, everybody. That's what they often do in radio. You know, they wait till your last gig on Friday, the end of the week. They walk in after your show and say, bye. And you don't have to, you know, they don't want you on the air to say goodbye because then listeners will call in and be mad. They just want a nice, clean exit. So you do your final show and then they come at you and say goodbye. Now, unless this is Brian's idea, maybe Brian did it after he did the show. He walked into Bill Hess's office and said, look, I got to do something else. I'm out of here. I need my morning sleep, okay? I can't be doing this, getting up at 2 or 3 in the morning and driving in from, where is he live? Germantown, somewhere like that. So, you know, maybe he's just too old for doing that. I don't know. But anyway, Brian Wilson is out. We will see who the new substitute or the new, you know, they have some substitute guest hosts in or whether they've already got somebody lined up and we'll hear it. There has been no official word from WMAL as of Saturday morning, 24 hours later. In fact, when you go to WMAL's website, Brian's still on it. They still have Mornings on the Mall with Brian and Mary, so his picture's still there. Usually when someone gets yanked, they erase them from the website pronto. So Brian's still there. And there has been no official word from WMAL. I've gotten no press release or anything saying Brian's gone, but it is all over his Twitter page. So, you know, that's the deal. MAL's getting pretty good ratings. Okay, they're always a top 10 performer in the market. They're probably not doing so great in the male demos that they'd like. They probably look at those male demos, young male money demos, 25-54, and they probably see we could be doing better. They probably see that. Their advertising is kind of flaky over there. You hear a lot of dentists and old people's remedy stuff things, you know what I'm saying? Whereas you listen to TOP, that one of their competition, and it's big like defense contractors, and I don't know, the quality of ads I hear on MAL are not necessarily top of the barrel, but they sure have a lot of ads, so it doesn't necessarily mean much, but you know, I think for the amount, the number of ratings they get, which is probably skews older too, because a lot of people that listen to that righty talk radio tend to be older, and they're not the kind of people advertisers crave. So they're probably trying to make a younger group to listen to the station, and they're probably trying to get more women to listen to the station, and and maybe Brian just isn't fitting into that plan. I don't know. Cumulus, the owner of the station's in a lot of financial trouble, you know, like a lot of other radio companies these days, and they may just be making budget cuts. They may just see Brian is probably one of the highest paid personalities, if not the highest paid personality at the station, and maybe they're just looking at the bean counter thing and thinking we're paying him too much. We could hire a replacement at a third of what he's costing us. So there's a lot of things that are going into this, but you know, Brian is gone. I think it's probably going to be good for MAL in the long run, but you got to, like him or not, Brian is more or less a legend in the Washington market, Washington local news TV market. Channel 5, Fox News, MAL. He's had a good career, and we wish him well, and so there. Yes, lots of fun stuff this week. But the breaking news as of late Friday. So Brian Wilson gone from MAL. We hear more. It'll be posted right here on DCR TV. All right, folks, thanks for watching Dave TV for the 20th of May, 2017. Book 'em, Dano.